vivid imagery there.
So it looks like totality has hit Iceland, which is so exciting. You can see that the ballooning team is engulfed by darkness here. So that is so exciting. I can see them smiling. Oh my goodness. So why do we see a 360-degree sunset during an eclipse?
Because there is light on either side. It's just simply blocking out in that specific shadow. So it's like the sun has gone down just in that one location, but the rest of the earth is still illuminated. So you still have oh wow, that is images of the sky and the airplane. We are seeing the airplane.
Wow, so we have experiments happening in the air and on the ground in Iceland, which is so exciting.
Definitely.
Wow. So, and then what we're seeing now is the partial eclipse happening in Norway. They will just be experiencing a partial, but in Iceland, they are experiencing totality right now. We have experiments, balloons capturing data in the skies, and also a plane capturing data in the skies as well.
Yes, we do. And it's really interesting looking at the sun. There are some features, those lines that you see, the dark lines, those are magnetic features, and those again are the exciting things we want to know about for space weather, and so to better understand that. So the sun has given us some very interesting things to look at, and those experiments will really help us.
Yeah, and so this is why eclipse observations and eclipse chasing is so critical, because even though they happen often and even though we know exactly when they're going to happen, you never know when the weather will just obscure your view. So we want to take every opportunity we can to get observations.
Definitely.
So, okay, so if you were in Iceland and you were either seeing clouds or you were able to see the eclipse, please share your experience with us. We want to know what you experienced on the ground. Please tag @NASA wherever you're watching. So we have a lot of questions coming in here from social media. So Kelly, shall we dig into those questions?
Yes, let's dig in.
Alrighty, so we have Bo on Facebook and they ask, are we really going to lose gravity during the eclipse?
No. We are not.
Okay.
Gravity, really, the stuff that sticks us to the Earth's mass has not changed because of this eclipse, and so we're going to stay grounded on this Earth.
Okay, noted. Gravity will not change. Okay, so we have another question from X, and they ask, how much can we actually learn about the sun during just a few minutes of totality compared to years of normal observations?
It's really about having all of the observations, right? We definitely need that totality because the moon just happens to fit so perfectly over the surface of the sun that we can see from that surface outward for that space weather, whereas some of our instruments aren't quite that close in. So we need to knit them together and use both the couple of minutes from the eclipse as well as the years of observations from our NASA satellites.
Okay, well, I'm glad that we have both ways of getting observations.
Exactly.
So we have another question here from Elinu on YouTube, and they ask, why does the weather change in a solar eclipse?
That's a good question, and I think that's something still trying to be understood. But if you imagine you've stopped heating something up temporarily, so things sink, right? When things get cold, they tend to sink, and so the air is moving, and there starts to create winds. And when you create winds, you start to cool things down. So the weather changes due to just turning on and off the light alone, because the sun is so important to us in actually regulating our weather.
Wow. Okay, so we have another question here from Frank Perez on X, and they ask, for sending teams to do research in the path of totality, how do you balance the crew training value of Iceland's terrain against the statistical odds of clearer skies in Spain?
And we definitely addressed both, right? There are great things to do with the atmospheric work, especially in the Arctic areas, for the balloons that we sent to Iceland, and then we have teams in Spain also doing that. So it was a balanced portfolio. We made sure that we had both types of experiments available.
Okay. Thank you so much. So keep your questions coming in. We'll be answering more later on in the show. And so earlier, I also mentioned that we had questions for you, the viewers, as well. You can head over to NASA's Twitch and Instagram to weigh in on a couple of those. So here are some of these questions that we posed to you. So Kelly, let's see what those questions are.
Definitely.
So if you had to pick where you'd watch the eclipse from out of these special locations listed, I'm going to ask you this, Kelly. Which ones would you choose? So we have the International Space Station, a high altitude plane, an observatory telescope room, and a NASA chase jet?
It would be a tough choice between International Space Station or high altitude plane. They've got such a huge overview. It's great.
Yeah, I think I would choose the same too.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone who has participated so far. We're going to check back into those results a little bit later on. Thank you to our NASA Administrator, Jared Isaacman, and Head of NASA Science, Nikki Fox. Let's head back to Ernie right now, who is going to dive into our eclipse maps and where the eclipse is heading next.
Thanks, Joy. It's so exciting for me to watch this eclipse progress. I mean, we can predict these, but you really can't anticipate how you feel about them until you see them. So I'm standing in front of the eclipse map, and just to recap, this red stripe is the path of totality. Those are all the locations that can experience totality. You're seeing the partial shadow emerge from northern Siberia. It has already crossed Alaska. It's over Canada and the northern United States right now. And that little oval is the umbra where totality is actually taking place. It has just passed by Iceland, and although it was cloudy there, people got to experience the secondary effects of an eclipse where you get the darkening and the brightness along the horizon. And it will very soon be over northern Spain, where we expect more than 15 million people will be watching the eclipse. Toward the end of it, partial eclipse in Western Africa. So this is a close-up view. Reykjavik is here. They unfortunately had clouds, but the WB-57 was flying just above that. And they were there because that's kind of the spot that if you're on the center line, you get the longest eclipse of 2 minutes, 18 seconds today. And we're just a few minutes away from seeing totality pass over Spain less than an hour before sunset. That should produce some really beautiful photographs, especially for folks on the beach watching this over the mountains to the west. This is an unusual eclipse. It's kind of weird. And one reason for that is where the total eclipse starts. This is the Timir Peninsula in northern Siberia. And because they're so far north, that eclipse starts at midnight. They are well above the Arctic Circle, so the sun is up 24 hours a day. And then the other kind of odd thing about it is this north-south path. Most eclipse paths, most totality paths are west to east. But this one, because it's so close to the pole and because of the orientation of the Earth and the fact that it's a descending node eclipse, it's starting in the north and going to the south and then suddenly making this left turn into Spain. So we're looking forward to seeing that total eclipse in Spain where the weather looks great. Back to you, Joy.
Thank you so much, Ernie. So we're about 15 minutes away from totality in Spain. The view we're seeing here is from Leon, Spain. And I want to say thank you again to our partners, Time and Date, Southern Illinois University, and Exploratorium for providing these stunning telescope views of the solar eclipse. This is really, really exciting. They have 15 minutes left until the sun is completely obscured. Luckily, Earth is not the only place you can experience a total solar eclipse. Our astronauts on the International Space Station have witnessed several solar eclipses from this very unique vantage point. So let's learn more from my colleague Abby Unterante, who caught up with the astronauts on the space station a few days ago.
Well, hi, Jessica and Anil. It is so great to talk with you. From the International Space Station, you see Earth and the solar system from a unique perspective every single day. Thank you so much for joining this long-distance call to talk about this moment.
We're so happy to share this with you.
We study the sun and its influence on Earth and throughout the solar system through a field called heliophysics. What is the benefit of studying the sun from up there in low Earth orbit?
One of the big things is that there is a lot of particles that are around Earth, and those particles can be affected by coronal mass ejections, and those ejections can energize the particles and affect things that are in space. And the things that we care about in space are satellites, and those satellites give us communication, they give us internet, and so there's even a future where we have data centers in space, and we're using the sun's energy to power things like artificial intelligence and things like that. And so we need to understand how that's going to be affected by the sun.
If you could pick anyone, who would you want to watch an eclipse with? And would you rather watch it from Earth or from space?
This one for me just reminds me of one of my mentors from graduate school, Jerry Koyman, and he and his wife, they are eclipse chasers. So I think if I could share it with one very special person, somebody that played such a role in inspiring me and helping fuel my scientific curiosity and helping me be a successful scientist, it would be to watch that with Jerry, and it would be to watch it from up here, because I know he has never seen one from the International Space Station.
I was going to say something similar. I would love to watch it with my kids because it was such a unique experience for me. When it happened, the animals, the birds got quiet, it got dark, it almost felt cooler, and I think they would really love it.
Anil, I know you just arrived. Is there anything that you've seen out of the cupola or the wharf that surprised you since you've arrived?
Here's the most surprising thing. On the launch, you have a chance to look out of the window of the spacecraft as it's docking with space station. And when I looked out the right window, I saw this bright, shining thing, the International Space Station. I knew it should be there in space, and we were tracking it, and a lot of people did all the math and engineering to get us there, but it just was something that was just hard to comprehend at the same time and utterly beautiful. It's this merger between art and science.
The best part about that moment was we were all inside the space station, very anxiously awaiting Anil and Pyotr and Anya's arrival, and we could hear the communications coming from the Soyuz. The Soyuz was, of course, talking to the ground. All of a sudden, we heard Anil's voice, and he said, "I see it! I see the space station!" It just made everybody smile and made everybody so happy, because we remembered that moment for ourselves when you see it for the first time, and it doesn't even look real. It looks like a little computer animation or something, and it's so small, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then suddenly it becomes your new home.
Thank you so much. It has just been a pleasure to speak with you both. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Abby. It's been wonderful speaking with everyone today. So keep looking up, and we'll be waving at you.
So at last report from Mission Control, Jessica, Anil and the rest of the crew had their eclipse glasses on standby just in case the space station path brought them any unexpected views. So we'll keep an eye out and see if they saw anything. But we did just get something new come in. So a short while ago in Hodgdon, Maine in the US, one of our NASA photographers actually caught the International Space Station flying across the sun during the partial eclipse. Let's take an exclusive look at that image. Wow, that is an incredible shot. So this was taken by Joel Kowski with NASA headquarters. So in the middle, you can see a tiny little speck, and that's the space station that flew right in front of the partial eclipse at 1:14 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see it along the middle here, and there are some cloud coverage. You can see the clouds kind of going in front as well, but this is a really, really beautiful shot. The space station was traveling at about 5 miles per second here. So our NASA photographer, Joel, would have had about half a second to capture this exact moment. In Joel's photographs, you can also see like the slither of the moon at the top corner as well, and the moon was covering roughly 20% of the sun. Although Joel is a very experienced photographer, anyone can take photographs of a solar eclipse. Sometime after the show, NASA will also be releasing exclusive eclipse images from Spain as well. This is where our NASA photographer, Bill Ingalls, is hoping to capture the eclipse near the horizon. We're about 7 minutes away from totality in Leon, Spain, which is so exciting. This is some of the crowds there that we're seeing. You can see that the darkness is looming. It's not quite totality there yet, but they are almost there, which is awesome. So now I'm joined here by NASA's heliophysics director, Joe Westlake. Joe, how are you feeling about today's eclipse?
Oh, super excited. Super excited to see it and to share our science, NASA science across the world.
So if you're watching from the ground and you don't have eclipse glasses, there are actually many ways to watch an eclipse. These are through indirect viewing methods. So Joe, do you want to walk through some of those methods with us?
Yeah, so these are super cool. This is stuff that you've got at home and things that you can use to help you view an eclipse safely without your glasses. So here we have just a standard colander, right? What you would have in your kitchen. Maybe clean some, berries or whatnot with it. And I'm going to demonstrate how you would use this to look indirectly at an eclipse.
Okay.
You're using the light of the sun as it would filter through this colander. And let's demonstrate together. Here,
Okay,
Joy. So yeah, if you could hold that.
So do you need a piece of paper?
You don't need a piece of paper.
Okay.
You can just have it on the ground, something light that you could see.
Okay.
I've got a flashlight that's sort of demonstrating what an eclipse would look like. It's got a little piece of foam there that'll show. So let's shine our light. Let's do our sun, and then show it as it would hit the this colander. And what you can see there is these nice little crescent moon shapes, which are showing the eclipse on our example paper here. So that would usually be a bunch of circles, like if you took this out during regular daylight. Here in the US, you would see just a little sliver gone. Over in Spain, of course, they would see these beautiful little crescent moon shapes.
So you don't want to be looking through the colander, but you want the sun to be shining through it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
You want to use this as your light filter for you. And the cool thing is you can use this, but you don't have to use this. There's lots of other possibilities. So you can actually take your hands, right, like this.
Okay.
Spread your fingers out.
Yep.
Hold them over top of each other. And you make little pinholes yourself when you do that.
Okay.
Right? And when you do that, you can actually see through and be able to see the eclipse in the same way. Right? So that's a cool way to do it. And then on top of that, let's say you're taking a walk in the woods. Well, the leaves of the trees actually make these kind of pinholes all over for you as well. When they do that, you get this beautiful, constant crescent moons and everything everywhere. One of my favorite ways to see an eclipse.
Thank you so much, Joe. And so today's eclipse, August 12th, also lands on another special day. So on this day in 2018, NASA's Parker Solar Probe launched into space to study the sun's corona up close. Joe, can you tell us a little bit about that mission?
Yeah, what an incredible mission. This is humanity's opportunity to actually touch our star, right? We flew a mission, Parker Solar Probe. It's still up there. It's still operating. It's still taking great science. But it's flying within the corona, within what you see in the total solar eclipse, and taking direct measurements of that corona to help us understand how our sun works.
Amazing. So we have a lot of questions coming in from social media, and we have time for just one, Joe. Great. So let's dig in. Kyle asks, it seems to be that there are a lot more solar eclipses happening the past few years. Did something change?
Nothing changed. The geometry of the sun, the moon, the earth is the same. But one of the cool things about our technological society today is you get to see many more of these things, whether it be because of social media, because of, people have access to cell phones, or just the accessibility of travel and being able to go to these different places. I'm personally really glad that people are hearing more and more about eclipses because it brings the greatness of NASA science home to all of you.
Thank you so much, Joe, for doing this demonstration and for being with us here today.
Thank you so much, Joy.
So now let's head back to the eclipse map where we're going to see the eclipse in real time. So as you can see in the bottom part of this video, the moon's shadow is just about to reach Spain. We're about 3 minutes out from totality hitting Spain. Leon, Spain is going to be experiencing totality, and it will be getting about 1 minute and about 44 seconds of totality, which is so exciting. The path is going to be hitting several other towns as well, such as Mallorca and Villalobado. And the view that we're seeing right now is of Leon, Spain. And even though totality hasn't occurred yet, you can see a tiny little filament, or prominence, on the one side. Okay, so remember to be safe when watching a solar eclipse. You have to be wearing safe solar viewing glasses or use an indirect viewing method when viewing when this moon hasn't completely covered the sun yet. You can only look at a total solar eclipse during totality when the moon is completely blocking the sun. So back in the studio, we have Kelly with us again. Kelly, what is it that makes this eclipse in Europe so special?
It really is so special because, again, this is almost at sunset. So we're experiencing something that's a little bit different, having it so low on the horizon. And look at those images there. You're seeing that darkness already coming in, those kind of sepia tones instead of the normal bright light or even the normal types of sunsets.
Wow, so we are 2 minutes away from totality in Spain. You can see the crowds in the bottom corner there, and this is the sun's view. Oh my goodness, so 2 minutes until totality, and we have a slither of the sun left. This is just amazing.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And like you were saying, there is that prominence there that we already see. So these are things that are very interesting and, again, can erupt in the space weather that we were talking about earlier. So this is a great view. And even with this, it's not complete darkness. That little bit of sun still lights it up so that we can see the crowd.
Wow. So we're about a minute and a half away. What should people expect to see moments before totality hits?
So what they should see is what we call the diamond ring effects, or the Bailey's bead. So these will be really bright lights, and it's from the last bits of sun coming through the moon's valleys. So that will come through, and we'll see that. And you still need your eclipse glasses or an indirect viewing method at that point in time. But then once that's done and you're in the path of totality, it's time to remove those glasses and see the corona with your own eyes.
Wow. And if you're on the ground, what other sensations will you be feeling?
It will definitely be getting colder. There might be a wind. You could, again, change in animal behavior, any wildlife that's around you, and really the sense of awe, as well as the 360-degree sunset all around the horizon. So just a few things to look for.
Wow, this is a stunning view. We have just a slither left, and this is the moon covering the sun's disk. And when totality occurs, that slither will disappear. We're about 30 seconds away now from totality in Spain. If you're on the ground and you have clear skies, we are so happy for you.
Yes, definitely.
Wow.
It's just beautiful, and again, probably feeling so much excitement, and sometimes you even feel a little fear, like I think was mentioned earlier, they felt it was eerie almost. It's an eerie light. It's not something that we're used to in a human experience, but here it goes. It's we're getting close to those Bailey's beads, or the diamond ring effect, so those should be coming very shortly.
Wow. All right, totality is almost there. The slither is about to disappear.
Oh,
okay.
The little diamond ring.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Totality has hit Spain.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Lovely view.
What is the red mark that we're seeing on the image right now of the sun?
So the red mark is that filament. So it's a bunch of very hot material that has been hanging above the sun and just kind of hanging out there based on the magnetic fields of the sun that keeps it kind of in a little magnetic cage. Oh, look at that. That's a really nice view of the corona. You're seeing things that look like streaks coming out of this, and those are streamers. So that's the basis of the solar wind that we are bathed in constantly. The sun is constantly outflowing material, and so that's that constant stream, and then you see the what could become a big chunk at some point in time in the pink filaments that you see there.
Wow. So we see that coming off of the sun. So this is the atmosphere of the sun's corona. Are those streaks that you just mentioned, are they coming towards Earth as well?
They are coming towards Earth. So they fill the entire solar system, or the heliosphere, which is actually all that the sun encompasses with that solar wind. So it's the entire solar system, so it definitely hits us here on Earth.
Wow.
And this is absolutely beautiful. Again, you're seeing a prominence also on both sides, really, and maybe even one up on the other corner.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So there's lots of, even though the sun is supposed to be towards a minimum of activity, which meaning you should see less of this, we're seeing more of it. And this is one of the important reasons why to keep studying these eclipses, is to see what is actually happening on our sun. When we think we know what's going on, it seems to change it up a little.
And what is it about these features that are so important to study?
It's important to study what they're made out of. Oh, and now we're back to the diamond ring. So we're coming back out of it already. It was always... Oh,
wow.
Yes, it happens so quickly. And once you see one, you definitely want to go back and see some more.
Wow. So totality has ended.
Yes.
In Villabado, Spain. Wow. So you're telling me that we also see the diamond ring and Bailey's beads at the end of the eclipse as well?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
When you're going into or out of the eclipses.
Okay, so this is a view from Valoria La Buena in Spain as well. They are seeing an eclipse right now. Eclipses happening in Spain are about a minute apart from one another in these telescope views. So they're seeing totality. So the red mark that we're seeing right now, is that another prominence?
Yes, those are prominences, that material that is suspended above the sun that's very, very hot. Again, it's interesting to us to know what they're made out of. There's normally filters, like here and on the airplanes as well, to tell us about whether that's some iron or whether that's carbon or oxygen or what exactly is those pink filaments made of.
And you can see the moon is moving away from the sun right now. What is it that we're watching?
Yeah, Bailey's beads, and so these are the beads, and so now we're actually going out of totality again. So
wow, what a brief moment of totality. Yeah. This is just amazing. They have had clear skies, and this is exactly what you want for a total solar eclipse. Yeah. Wow. This is Mallorca in Spain. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is stunning.
Wow, yeah.
Look at that corona. Why is it so much clearer? Why is the corona so much clearer during a total eclipse?
Yes, yeah. So it's so much clearer because you're taking away all the bright light from the face of the sun. The sun is very, very bright. So it's basically a million times different. And when you blot out that middle, you can see all the beautiful things that are going on behind it. And so, yeah, so this is the beautiful crescent moon that you're seeing. I think previously we were seeing those strikes of light. That's also closer to sunset there as you go more south in Spain. And already the light's returning, and they seem to be very excited in the crowd there.
Yeah.
It's such a great feeling to experience those eclipses, even though they were so short.
Wow. And experiencing a total solar eclipse, that is completely different to a partial eclipse.
It really is. And it took me, even as a heliophysicist, it took me a while for them to convince me that I should do it. And once I saw my first in 2017, I've seen multiple since, because it is a full body experience. It is very different than seeing just one bite out of the moon. The whole body experience and just the joy and awe and kind of your place in the world is so important to experience.
Absolutely. I'm for sure now an eclipse chaser. Well, that was an incredible solar eclipse. What a view. I am thrilled that their skies were completely clear, which means that we could see the sun's corona so clearly. And we could even see multiple prominences as well from the sun, which is a beautiful sight during an eclipse. Yeah. So in a few minutes, we're going to be speaking with a NASA astronaut live from where they saw a total eclipse. But first, let's go back to the poll that we posed to you earlier on in the show. So, Kelly, I know that you had answered some of those questions as well. Yes. So let's take a look at what our viewers thought about those questions. Okay, so let's head to one of the poll questions. But while we're kind of like waiting to get that set up, let's continue looking at this beautiful partial eclipse now in Mallorca, Spain.
That's just gorgeous. That is just absolutely gorgeous in terms of that very little sliver. Again, this is towards sunset. So normally if you're looking at a sunset, especially over water, you're seeing that kind of orange ball, red ball go down, and then you have this beautiful eclipse to happen. These really are just going to be spectacular images.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's head back to the poll answers. Our viewers, so the first question was, where would you rather watch an eclipse from? You said the International Space Station, and our viewers would agree.
Yes, it'll be a party on the International Space Station.
I also wanted to be there too, so we're all going to be up there. The second question on the poll for everyone watching was, what would be your ideal eclipse watching soundtrack? And the options were cosmic lo-fi beats, dramatic space opera music, chill acoustic sky watching vibes, or just the sounds of nature and the crowds. And the winner was cosmic lo-fi beats.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's a good soundtrack. I can see that.
Yeah. I voted for opera music, but
yeah, and I might be a little bit more sounds of nature, but that's just me.
Okay. Well, Anyway, thank you so much. So, although totality is over, the partial eclipse will still be visible for the next hour or so. Remember to stay safe while watching the rest of the partial eclipse by wearing eclipse glasses or by using an indirect viewing method. And so if you want to learn more about eclipse safety, go to science.nasa.gov/eclipses. Okay, so next we have a very special guest calling into the show live. NASA astronaut Don Pettit just witnessed the total solar eclipse from Alcañiz, Spain. Don, can you hear me? How are you doing?
I can hear you loud and clear, and I'm standing out in Alcañiz, Spain, just in awe from looking at the totality phase of this eclipse.
Wow, so how are you feeling? I know you just finished watching the eclipse. How are you feeling right now? What did you experience on the ground, and what did you hear? Were you surrounded by crowds at all?
The sky is exceptionally clear, and there's hundreds of people here, and that's part of the eclipse. It's not being off by yourself, it's being with a group of people, the people that live in Alcañiz, the group of people that I'm here with, and experiencing this amazing celestial event all together.
Amazing. So people might know you for your incredible photos and videos from your multiple trips to the International Space Station. Did you take any photos during this eclipse, or did you put your camera down for this one?
Oh, no. What I do is the same thing for launches. You set a camera up on automatic, and you get whatever you get from the camera, and then you stand back and you watch the launch or you watch the total eclipse. They're both kind of in the same category in that they only last a couple minutes in terms of what you could see, and it's better to view them through your own two eyes than through the viewfinder on a camera.
Okay, good tip from a NASA astronaut. So how did the experience watching this from the ground compare to watching an eclipse from space, which I know you've done a few times?
I've had the opportunity to see two solar eclipses from space. And in space, you look at the shadow projected on Earth. You don't look at the sun itself. And the shadow has all the detail that the classic astronomers from hundreds of years ago predicted. You see the umbra, you see the penumbra, you see the shadow moving over Earth, and it's a vantage point from space that you can't see from Earth.
Wow. So lucky. And I know you've seen a lot of other beautiful phenomena in space, like the aurora and air glow. What is it that makes watching a total eclipse special for you?
It's the whole package that comes with a total eclipse. It's the shadow phenomena that happens around you. It's looking at the corona around the sun. It's experiencing the reaction of all the people you're watching it with. So it's a human emotional event as well as much physics and natural phenomenology as you want to add to the mix.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, John. Any parting words?
Just get out and watch an eclipse, whether it's a total eclipse or a partial eclipse. They happen. Lunar eclipses happen. Get out and look up at the sky and think about what's going on and smile.
Thank you so much for joining us live from Spain. We're so grateful you could share your absolutely amazing solar eclipse experience with us.
You all take care.
Wow, Kelly, it's amazing to hear someone as passionate and knowledgeable as Don.
Yes, it really is. That he's seen so much and he still is so passionate about the eclipse here on Earth. It just really tells you have to see this thing.
Absolutely. So if you're looking to catch the next total eclipse, you're in luck because we have a few special ones coming up. Kelly, can you run through them with us?
Yes. So next year there is going to be an eclipse that happens in part of Spain, throughout the northern Africa, through the Middle East, and that's going to be the eclipse of the century, the longest one of the century. So it's 6 minutes and 28 seconds. That's going to be a very long one. And then in 28, we're going to have the eclipse over Australia and New Zealand. So these are going to be great scientific experiments as well as amazing experiences to experience on the ground.
Amazing. And what about the United States?
The United States, well, the next one where we'll have totality is 2044 in Montana and North Dakota, and then 2045. So it's going to be a while before we go California through Florida across the entire continent.
Amazing. So if you want to learn more about solar eclipses and NASA science, you can head to science.nasa.gov/eclipses. So Kelly, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today and answering all of our questions from our viewers. I also want to thank our guests who joined us in the studio and on the ground as well, and especially to our telescope partners and everyone who looked up with us here today. And so I think we may have some eclipse pictures from the International Space Station. I'm going to see if we can grab them now for you. If you can't, we'll be releasing them shortly after the eclipse. We're going to be posting them online soon after the eclipse, but yes, we're happy that the space station astronauts were able to see the eclipse from space. So we have something else exciting happening in just a few weeks. NASA's Kennedy Space Center Launch Complex in Florida will become the next launch site for the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. This is a one-of-a-kind observatory that will help answer essential questions about dark energy, exoplanets, and much more about our solar system and out to the observable universe. The launch is currently no earlier than Sunday, August 30th. We're so excited for you to join us next time as we follow another historic mission in space exploration.